every 20 minutes. It's your statewide Alabama weathercast.
Good afternoon. I'm meteorologist Drew McCombs with the Alabama Weather Network, and this is your afternoon forecast update for the state of Alabama. And taking a look across the satellite and radar here, it is quiet across the state for the most part. Got lots of sunshine and warmth across the southern half of the state. Across the northern half, got a few more clouds around, and there actually is one little shower moving into northwestern Madison County, just crossed over the state line here in the last 30 minutes to an hour. But that's it as far as any sort of rain is concerned, and that's a fairly light shower at that. Take a look at Dolphin Island on our Skycam network. It's beautiful out there. Cloudless sky there, blue skies. It's 84 degrees. The dew point has bumped up a little bit here to around 71 degrees, but still pretty nice, calm day there at the beach. And as we move a little bit further towards the north, Jefferson looking beautiful with, again, just a few little puffy clouds, but mainly blue skies there and a beautiful view there in the kind of southern and southwestern part of the state. Moving up towards the northeast, Mount Cheaha, beautiful view as usual. It's 74 degrees. Dew point is at 58, which is not too bad. Definitely still feeling fairly comfortable, especially up the 2,400 or so foot elevation there on Mount Cheaha. So just another beautiful day there atop the highest point in the state. In Tuscaloosa at the University of Alabama, it's a nice day as well. We're in the mid 80s. It's 85 degrees. Again, the dew point is pretty low, so it's not feeling all that humid over there in Tuscaloosa. And as we move further towards the north, Hatton, it's 83 degrees. Again, nice there as well. Just a few more scattered clouds as you move further towards the north. And then as we head over to Huntsville, we should actually get maybe a little bit of a view of that shower. And there it is right there. We're pointing kind of in the general direction of that shower that's crossed the state line here. So you can see there's a rain shaft right there. There's the edge of the rain shaft. So we're able to capture on the Skycam network that lone shower across the state. So that's pretty cool to be able to see that one lone shower there in North Alabama. So what we're watching for the rest of today and this week, again, it's going to be dry mostly through the next week or so. Again, scattered shower, an isolated shower or two is possible in spots over the next day or so. Then we should kind of dry out even more through the weekend and not even have those scattered showers around. Highs most days will be 90 to 93 degrees, could get up into the mid 90s, especially as we get into early next week. But the nights will be pleasant because it is relatively dry out there, not a whole lot of humidity. So the temperatures will be able to, the air will be able to cool fairly efficiently once we get into the evening, and we'll have pleasant nights, thankfully. So temperatures right now, though, it's warm out there. It's 90 degrees in both Birmingham and Tuscaloosa. We've had 91 degrees in Monroeville. And again, so we've had a number of places hitting the lower 90s, but upper 80s is pretty common across the state. Forecast lows for tonight. Don't expect maybe to get quite as cool as we got last night, mostly low 60s. I still wouldn't be surprised if we see a few upper 50s in some of the eastern and northeastern parts of the state. But as you move down towards the southwest, a little bit warmer, 66 degrees in Chatham, Monroeville, 70 degrees around the coast in both Mobile and Gulf Shores. As far as highs for tomorrow, again, we kind of stair-step the highs up a little bit more. We expect to get up to maybe 93 degrees in Tuscaloosa. Again, low 90s possible elsewhere, especially across the southern part of the state. But you can see even in the Tennessee Valley, could get up to 90 in Hamilton and 91 degrees in Florence. Looking at our futurecast, mostly just scattered clouds. The model is picking up on that isolated shower or two for the rest of the night. But again, it won't be anything significant. If anything, just be a light shower for a brief period of time if you do happen to get one, but most people will not. And as we get into tomorrow morning, looks calm there across the board. And then as we get into tomorrow, late morning into the afternoon, still an isolated shower or two may pop up here as this mid-level disturbance comes through, but nothing significant, nothing that's going to bring any accumulation of significance as we've continued to dry out here recently. And then as we get into Saturday afternoon, again, a stray shower might be around, but I would expect likely everybody's going to be dry and warm for Saturday and the rest of this weekend. Here's your drought monitor, though. So again, we are getting drier. This was last week's drought monitor. Today is drought monitor update day, and so this is this week's. You can see, though, that moderate drought, that tan area right there, has expanded a little bit further. So we're expanding up into parts of Greene and Hale County, into Perry County, Tuscaloosa, Jefferson, getting into Bibb County as well. There's a little bit more of an expansion down in parts of Monroe County and Escambia County as well. So we're seeing that drought start to expand a little bit as we've stayed dry here over the last week, and we expect to continue to stay dry, so that's something we're going to have to monitor for sure over the next week or two. All right, here's your football forecast as we've got football starting up for this week. Friday night football forecast for the north part of the state. It will be falling through the 80s as we hit the kickoff times around 7 o'clock, but then should be getting into the 70s for most of the game. Should be, again, clear skies, and because of the humidity will be relatively low in most spots, should be pretty comfortable out there, but still kind of warm. Same thing for the south. You see expected to be in the 80s to start with, falling kind of a little bit more slowly through the 70s as you'll have a little bit of an uptick of humidity compared to the north, but still generally pretty nice out there. Just kind of a warm, pleasant night for the football games for Friday night. Now looking at our college football games across the state for Saturday, got Alabama playing Wisconsin at 11 a.m. in Tuscaloosa, and this one's going to be a pretty hot one. Again, the humidity won't be too bad, but if you're sitting in the full sunshine, it's going to be pretty hot during the game. We expect to get into the lower 90s during the game, and of course it'll still be hot as you're driving home since it'll still be in the afternoon there. So not expecting any worries about rain or anything like that, just a hot one. And a similar story in Auburn for their game against South Alabama. You can see expect to get into the upper 80s and then probably also into the low 90s through the course of the game. So both Tuscaloosa and Auburn expecting hot ones out there. UAB, on the other hand, in Birmingham playing Akron, they're going to be not quite as hot because it's a later game. So they don't start until 7:30 at Protective Stadium. And so it'll be starting off in the low 80s and then falling through the 70s over the course of the game. So that one should be another pretty comfortable football weather forecast for them. And our temperature outlook, again, we don't expect to really see relief from this warm up here anytime soon. This is the temperature outlook for next week. And you see that basically the whole state is a good bit above average is what we're expecting. So no big changes in sight as far as a cool down is concerned. And you can see that looking at the 7-day forecast for North Alabama. Again, got that little small spotty shower possible in a couple of spots, but most places stay dry. And then we should be mostly dry through the weekend, heading up into the low 90s generally. But again, you can see 94 degrees possible as we get into the early part of next week. But the lows do stay pretty comfortable with the relatively dry air in place. And then for South Alabama, again, we just keep that 10% chance on there just in case there's a scattered shower or two. When you're closer to the Gulf, a lot of times that's possible. You'll get one occasionally, but still most places stay completely dry. And we see those temperatures in the generally low 90s as we head into early next week. And again, those lows not too bad for this time of year. Well, that is your Alabama forecast update. We'll have another one coming up this evening on the Alabama Weather Network.